Welcome back to the 50 greatest Harry Potter moments.
Harry Potter is huge. It's just phenomenal and global. And it's very nice that it all started here.
As the final instalment hits the screens, Harry Potter must be celebrated as an extraordinary British success story.
Hi, diddly-dee, an actor's life for me. A high silk hat and a silver cane, a watch of gold.
Professor Dumbledore. Professor McGonagall.
One of its defining qualities is its cast, the greatest roll call of British acting talent ever assembled on film.
The cast list for the Harry Potter films reads as a who's who of great British acting talent.
I must be the one to kill Harry Potter.
What's I think should be celebrated now as it's finishing is the great achievement of such great skill and talent that's here in Britain.
We've had the privilege of working with some of the very finest actors today in the UK or abroad. I mean, they're the greatest actors in the world, but they just happen to be British.
When you look at that cast, you think, I cannot imagine anybody else playing any of those roles. It is absolutely perfect. And when you read the books, you see Alan Rickman, you see Daniel Radcliffe, you see Gary Oldman. You can't imagine it any other way.
Are you going to kill me, Harry?
One of the reasons I think that all the British actors do so well in this and are so loved around the world is that they're all theatre actors.
Barty Crouch, Jr. I'll show you mine if you show me yours.
And so they come in boldly. They hit the ground running, they create characters. They don't come as themselves, they're not underplaying anything.
You have the Grim.
The Grin? What's the Grin?
Not the Grin, you idiot, the Grim.
They're just grabbing hold with both hands and creating big moments.
Already here, Fudge. Good.
I did keep saying, gotta be British, gotta be British, gotta be British. I just felt we've got some of the best actors in the world here. The books are so inherently British. Why would we not have British actors?
And why not? Britain's definitely got talent.
Harry Potter.
Now, Harry Potter's first dramatic turn towards a dark side began here, when Harry encountered some supernatural fare dodgers.
Why are we stopping? We can't be there yet.
Dementors, they're prison guards, but they come and suck out the very soul of whoever they fancy. And you know when they arrive, because everything gets a bit chilly.
You know, you feel them before you see them. Everything freezes, they drain their life out of everything that they come into contact with.
They're not a bogeyman as such, you know, they are about fear. They're about drawing fear out of people. They're sort of a graphic representation of terror.
You never quite know what's under the cloak in either the book or the film. You know there's something horrible under there. You know it's not a ghost. You know it's at least partly physical. But you know it's not human.
I remember the first time I saw The Dementor thinking, this is not a kid's film anymore.
It was terrifying. I remember being in the cinema and the atmosphere was, I mean, you could hear a pin drop.
When Harry and Ron miss the Hogwarts Express, they nick themselves a super cool flying car. Well, it's a Ford Anglia.
That's the beauty of Harry Potter. It couldn't have been anything super fast. It had to be a Ford Anglia.
And you know why you know Harry Potter's a wizard? Because my dad had an Anglia and he never even got it running. That thing can fly.
But the car is just a vehicle for one of the most memorable and comic action scenes in all of Potter.
Now all we need to do is catch up with the train.
We can't be far behind.
Do you hear that?
We must be getting close. Oh, we can hear the train. It's really close. And you're like, oh no, it's behind you. You know it is. It's like some panto moment. Hold on. It's behind you!
Rupert Grint's face in the car
when they're flying along is, you know, some of the great face pulling in the history of cinema.
Next, tickets please.
Welcome to the night bus. Emergency transport for a stranded witch or wizard.
Who wouldn't love to stagger into the street, 3 sheets to the wind, hold up your hand, and the magical night bus turns up?
It's going to be a bumpy ride. The night bus was a great scene to do because it was about comedy and black humour and just really having a bit of fun. Ernie, 2 double-deckers at 12 o'clock.
Mind your head.
There's sections where we needed to do an animated CG version where we saw it squeeze and get distorted. But an awful lot of it was shot as sped-up live action.
But the muggles, can't they see us?
Muggles? They don't see nothing, do they?
The trick with that was actually having everything drive at half speed. The bus was going as fast as it could, which was about 40 miles an hour. And then we double sped everything. So it made it look like it was whizzing around the streets of London at high speed. Yeah, nearly there, nearly there.
Meet Sirius Black, dangerous wizard renegade, and a man who at first appears to have it in for Harry. But Mr. Black has a bright side. Godfather he may be, but he fights on the side of good.
Get away from my blood, son.
I think the relationship between Harry and Sirius is so important because you're just so happy that there's finally some sort of family out there, and he has so much love for Harry.
I want to go with you. One day, perhaps. For some time, my life will be too unpredictable. And besides, you're meant to be here. But you're in a...
The nurturing relationship that developed on screen has begun a very real connection off-screen.
There is a real bond between myself and Gary, and we've stayed in contact. He's given me guidance, both personal and professional, and and I'm always very, very grateful to him. And I think that, generally speaking, in the films, my acting is never better than when I'm acting with him.
But you look so like your father. Except your eyes. You have my mother's eyes.
Young actors dealing with great actors is not very far from young people whose characters are forming dealing with adults.
It's cruel that I got to spend so much time with James and Lily and you so little.
Gary is the person that I keep coming back to time after time because I regard him as pretty much the best England has to offer. I think he's just a wonderful, wonderful actor.
The ones that love us never really leave us. And you can always find them. In here.
Next, one of the greatest spectacles in all of the Potter movies. It's the Quidditch World Cup.
There is no difference to how they do the build-up to the Quidditch World Cup than how we would do the build-up to the Champions League final.
That was a magnificent moment, the Wizards Millennium Stadium or whatever it is, the first time you see that, and it looks like it's going to be like Wembley, even though it's got a different set of arches. But then it's this sort of kind of huge, like the inside of a South American prison with endless walkways.
It's the Irish! Let's try! And the Reds!
But while the big stuff is awesome, what's fascinating about this is that in the world of Potter, no detail is too small.
They made Quidditch World Cup programmes. And in the programmes, it would be like a Champions League final programme. You have player profiles, you have the history of the game, you have sponsorship pages. No one was ever going to see these programmes. There was never going to be a close-up of a programme, but they still went to the effort of making them and making tons and tons of these programmes just in case in the back of shot someone might see a programme and they couldn't possibly have it being a bit of blank paper.
Look, there's one. That bloke's reading it. And if you're wondering where England are, they didn't qualify. Looks like they got that detail right as well.
I think that's a joke on J.K. Rowling's part there.
This is the moment the world goes, wow, these guys can really, really act.
Frustrated by their battle against the Dark Lord Voldemort, here an exhausted Harry and Ron genuinely turn on each other.
What's wrong? Wrong? Nothing's wrong. Not according to you, anyway. It was very difficult because me and Rupert get on so well and laugh so much that actually to kind of really have to have a go at each other was quite hard. If you've got something to say, don't be shy. Spit it out. All right, I'll spit it out. But don't expect me to be grateful just because now there's another damn thing we've got to find. I thought you knew what you signed up for. Yeah, I thought I did too.
He just doesn't believe that Harry's given all the information out. He thinks Harry's holding back.
I thought you knew what you were doing. I thought Dumbledore would have told you something worthwhile. I thought you had a plan. I told you everything Dumbledore told me.
Then, of course, he sees Harry with kind of getting quite close with Hermione, and all this kind of paranoia and doubt. And, yeah, so it just kind of erupts.
You think I don't know how this feels? No, you don't know how it feels. Your parents are dead. You have no family. Stop! Stop! Finally, go! Go then!
That fight, I mean, I remember that day and just thinking, wow, these guys really might hit each other. They really, it was a really intense scene. They did an incredible job.
I must ask you not to scream. It might provoke them!
But for us, this counts as a little light relief.
Cornish pixies.
Freshly caught Cornish pixies.
A Cornish pixie, what is that? It's a little sort of mischievous character. Looks quite sort of cuddly initially. You know, it looks like you could be a nice pet.
Let's see what you make of them. No!
Working with that many special effects when there were all these pixies, Chris would be like, there's one behind you, there's one there, like, look up.
Get off me! Stop! Hold still!
I had false ears made for that sequence that had fishing wire attached through it. And then literally two guys with fishing rods either side, just off camera, would just sort of pull on the ears to make them look like they were being stretched. And then obviously they added the pixies on afterwards.
Oh, and another thing. These vicious little pixies should also be celebrated for giving Harry Potter one of its most enduring catchphrases.
Why is it always me?
I mean, he only ever says it once, but the amount of people that have asked me to sign photographs and books and say, can you write, why is it always me?